I know what you're thinking. Eric, you're such a card. Well, deal with it. Welcome to the Design Comedy. I'm Eric, your architectural designer and draftsman extraordinaire. And this is my playing card collection. Now, actually I have a lot more than what you see here, but display cases are expensive, and I can only fit the one here with the darn thermostat in the way, which I can't relocate because this is a rental. Besides, the last time I tried to do electrical work, I fried my mom's doorbell trying to replace a light bulb socket in the basement, so not going to risk setting the building on fire. And yes, I know this case isn't centered over the sofa like it should be, but I actually have a plan for this area wall here. I'm going to get 6 square canvases, some paint, a couple of hinges, and you know, I'm starting to feel a bit peckish. Do you like chips? I used to eat the jalapeno chips. And that's why I think Bernie Sanders could absolutely beat Joe Biden at a game of Mario Kart. Wait, what the frack is this video about again? Playing cards. Nobody really thinks about them, they just use them. Sounds like my last relationship. But there's an element of graphic design that goes into making playing cards easy to read and pleasant to look at. There's also the choice of material. Most cards are made of paper with some kind of protective coating on them, but others are made of 100% plastic, which makes them waterproof and more resistant to folding. And then you have this gold deck right here, Trump's favorite. This doesn't look like a full deck. Oh well, I'm surprised this lasted over 2 years so far, being so inflexible and with such a fragile ego. I mean, gold foil coating. Okay, all jokes and double meanings aside, you have your novelty decks and you have your standard decks. Actually, I'd put playing cards into 5 design categories, which I'll talk more about as soon as I get some more tips. Number 1, classic decks. Let's start with the classics. These are the decks you see everywhere, from drugstores to casinos. Now this is the standard rider-back deck that I'm sure everyone in the United States will recognize. But not every country uses this design. In fact, I have a German deck that my mom won in a euchre game against some other students during a foreign exchange program. These are what standard cards look like in Germany. But I'll mainly be talking about the American design, which is loosely based off the French, like so many other things we Americans are too proud to admit. I mean, French? No. This is 100% pure American design right here. So you have the 4 suits, the face cards, and the pips. No, not those pips. The pips are the symbols on each card, and in the top left corner that allow you to know your full hand without having to spread them out like this. Hey Johnny, what is this? We're trying to play a game here, not communicate with spirits about your cheating wife, eh? I feel like I'm an episode of Penn and Teller Fool Us, except the only trick I know how to do is to churn out weekly YouTube videos while working full time, taking tennis classes, and still have time to binge watch Criminal Minds. Ta-da! Anyway, Bicycle isn't the only American classic deck. There's also Bee, Aviator, Tally-Ho, Hoyle, and Aristocrat. I don't actually have very many classic decks in my collection. You know, they just all look the same to me. Different boxes, same faces, which is fine for, you know, playing poker with the boys. But as a design enthusiast, I'm drawn to decks that are more unique than this. Decks that offer something different. Come on, impress me. Number 2, souvenir decks. Ah, souvenir decks. You see them at gift stores at every airport, museum, and national park. And you might be surprised to know these are my least favorite decks. Sure, they're more unique than your classic deck, and some even have 52 different images, but they're just not made with the same standard of quality as a standard deck. Now, I've been collecting decks for about 15 years now, and it's clear to me that the decks that I bought at the Garden Maze in Luray or the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque are basically just mini postcards printed on cheap paper. I mean, the backs are different, but on the other side, it's just the same. It's the same design as the classic. except for the 52 different pictures where they just slap a picture on each one, you know, like a postcard. I get it, not everyone's a design snob like I am, and the very nature of a souvenir is to be a little reminder of a fun trip you went on. It's sentimental, but as a collector, there's just something cheap and inauthentic about them, like a Gucci bag with Peppa Pig on it. But to the credit of some gift stores, there are some nicely designed souvenir decks, like this vintage 52 Skyscrapers deck, which has some nice graphic design on it, and of course the chrome-plated edges, which aren't very practical but definitely collectible, which brings me to the next item. Number 3, novelty decks. And now we're back to this gold deck of cards. Novelty decks are designed to be radically different than a normal deck of cards, to the point of being impractical, but still fun to collect. Here I also have silver cards, and these clear plastic cards. I really like this deck, which has these really intricate patterns on the back with the gold foil, and of course the designs are unique too. And this one with the holographic foil on the edges. Novelty decks can also come in different sizes or shapes, or be designed to a theme like Atari, optical illusions, or US presidents. With all 44 presidents, the queens are famous first ladies, and the aces are American symbols. I did say 44 presidents because this was printed before Mr. Gold deck. The sky's the limit. But in terms of designing with the user in mind, novelty decks don't usually hold up. I mean, some of them you can play with just fine, but the designs are purely ornamental. Like this deck, which is one of my favorites, completely redesigned with holographic foil and very intricate patterns, making each card a stunning work of art. Other decks are almost impossible to play with, like these black cards that have embossed faces, so you have to look at them at a certain angle just to see what they are, just to identify them. The whole point of novelty decks is that they're different, not that they're usable. I'd almost call them playing card designs by tortured artists, except they don't come with the tortured artist price tag, so you can justify buying an unusable deck because you're a collector. Even this gold deck only cost me about 20 bucks. I bought it on Amazon. I'm a collector. Number 4, classic decks, but with a twist. Now we're back to more familiar decks we can play with, only this time there's something different about this deck. Almost like it was designed by Tim Burton. Oh no! The king doesn't look very happy, does he? And the queen is not amused. These decks take the classic design and alter it in some way, like changing the color scheme or doing something special with the court cards, like this tragic royalty deck here. Bicycle makes a lot of classic decks with a twist. We have the Dragonback deck, which changes the whole color scheme. There's this Eco deck that's made from sustainable forest paper, starch-based laminate, vegetable-based ink, so it's basically a vegetarian diet in a nutshell. And this Reversed Back deck, which is like a photo negative of a normal deck of cards, but keeping the red the same color so it isn't too confusing to deal with. I already made that joke. I also want to show you a deck with my favorite twist. It's called Pitman, and you'll soon see why. No, I'm not going to make that joke again. If you look at the cards, you'll see these little stick figures literally interacting with the pips in different ways. It's really cute and clever, just like me. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm really cute and upload clever new videos every Friday. And number 5, total redesign. Now these are my absolute favorite. A lot of effort was put into not only making a fully unique custom deck, but designing it with the user in mind. Just as simple and easy to read as a standard classic deck, no excessive ornamentation like a novelty deck, no simply adding a twist to an existing design, a deck that's completely new and still just as practical. My favorite playing card manufacturer, Theory 11, sells a lot of these kinds of decks. You know it's a Theory 11 deck when it comes in a very intricate embossed case like this. even if the cards themselves are minimalist. This one's called Navigators, and I see it's a very simple design, very easy to read, but also very different. This one's the Animal Kingdom, which treat the different suits like different habitats. So you got the Antarctic, you got the jungle, swamp, safari. Now this one truly is all-American. It honors the Union of the American Civil War. All the cards the same style. Some decks even reference pop culture and celebrities like Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon, and Neil Patrick Harris. Oops, this one actually uses the classic Royals design. Each of these only costs $10 new. In fact, most Ethereum 11 stock only costs $10 a deck. I mean, sure, you could get a $3 deck at the drugstore, but these are nowhere near drugstore quality. They're at least Target quality. No, seriously, you can actually get some of these at Target or Amazon or Ethereum11.com. Alright, advertisement over. I'll show you a couple of bicycles total redesigns too. This one's called RoboCycle, which has some really neat geometric design for the Royals. And the Zodiac deck for all you astrological serial killers out there. Alright, this one's more of a novelty deck. There are a few other decks here that I'm not sure how to categorize them since I literally just made this BS list up this week, but I think they're worth a mention. There's a strange bicycle street art deck that somehow makes eyeballs look adorable. How do you make eyeballs look adorable? Also notice it says gumming since 1885, not trusted since 1885. And no, not the bees, not the bees, ah! The Killer Bees deck. It's really neat with the geometric designs. I would have categorized this as total redesign, but the black background makes it harder to read and more like a novelty deck since that's not really standard. Of course, there's the Eames House of Cards deck, which don't really fit in any category because they're not really playing cards at all, just 52 poker card-sized pictures with slots in them. And there. Now you've seen about 1/10 of my collection. I even have some tarot cards here, but I'm trying to run a YouTube channel here, not communicate with spirits about your cheating wife, huh? Speaking of my channel, I did it! 6 episodes in a row, just as I promised. Same time every week. I know a 10-minute YouTube video doesn't seem like much, but with all the writing, the filming, and the editing, especially the editing, it's not easy keeping up something like this, especially while working full-time and taking tennis lessons twice a week. I really thought the tennis thing would just be another one of my one-off hobbies, but I'm really enjoying it and already signed up for classes in the fall, but I also enjoy making these videos. So I'm gonna take it easy the next couple of weeks, put together an outtakes video and then put together a proper trailer for my channel. After that, unless something comes up, I want to keep making videos for you guys. I want to experiment with some different ideas, maybe even try sketch comedy relating to design, of course. But until then, draft on, Cab Monkeys, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and click subscribe down below if you haven't already. I upload new videos every Friday, so stay tuned and I'll see you soon. Finally, some cards that I can see without my contact lenses.